There, I've fought him already. It wouldn't make that much difference who I fight.
I understand you guys have had several fights before.
Yeah, we've had 3 before.
And how they come out?
Oh, well, he seemed to come out on top every time.
But I understand that you are a little bit in better shape now than you were for either one of the other 3 fights. How do you feel?
I feel I'm a little bit better shape, and I'm going in this fight with a better attitude than I had before, and he might have had me psyched a little bit, too. We've been pretty close fights before. This one ought to be a little different, I hope.
Now, if you should beat Duane here, I understand that this does not actually qualify you for the Olympics.
No, we have a training camp, and then we'll box again, and if he wins that one, we'll box again, and if he'd win that one, too, he would go to the Olympics, or if I beat him in either one of them, I would go. But I hadn't even got to the finish yet, so we don't know how that's going to go. There's still some other boxers in there besides me and Bobick, and we're not the only ones to worry about.
If you should make the Olympic team, what are your plans after the Olympics?
Well, I don't know, really. I think if I did good in the Olympics, I might retire and coach and just look at it for a while instead of participate.
You're not considering turning pro?
Well, I don't know. If the money was right, I might sway my head. But right now, I'm not really considering it. No.
Looking at you.
I was very much surprised. The city has not been officially notified, but if this is true, we'll certainly have to investigate it and comply with whatever the requirements are.
Why aren't you aware of a situation like this?
The only announcement that we had seen on the subject was to the effect that in states where local municipalities do the regulation, those cities are exempt from this rule.
Why do you suppose it's coming out just now?
It's a total surprise. I don't know.
Judge, you've marched in 50 of them now, all across these 50 states. Which one sticks in your mind as the one you remember the most?
The first one, of course, the one that President Harding led.
Where and when was that?
Washington, 1923.
We'll check with you, Judge, at the end to see how you're doing. Thank you. Judge, you're now completing your 50th consecutive parade with the Shriners. How do you feel now?
In the pink,
What's your blood pressure?
134/72.
Judge, somebody asked you a little bit earlier this morning if this was your last parade. What do you have to say to him now?
I'll take another 5 years, at least.
"9:30 they said the parade would kick off, and exactly 9:30 it is on this beautiful Tuesday morning in downtown Dallas. How long will the parade go? I really don't know, but I've started the stopwatch now. When it's all over, we'll be back here to see exactly how long this parade with all the fezzes, the music, and the pageantry of the Shrinetennial will last. Been a wonderful 5 hours, 30 minutes, 45 seconds. Ask any of the estimated 45,000 people who sat out here most of the day, including a 30-minute rainstorm, to sit and watch it. Jerry Bart, Channel 8 News, on the move at the end of the Shrine Parade.
Republicans seem to be getting something of a jump in this campaign for a variety of likely reasons. First, and most of them are running against incumbent Democrats, and they feel they have to start earlier and work harder to get their names before the voters. Second, and perhaps just as important, many feel they can cash in on some of the dissension in the Texas Democrat Party if they strike at the right time. Looking toward President Nixon as a strong Republican drawing card in Texas, they also plan on being able to use some disillusionment on Democrats' part with Dolph Briscoe. Democrat campaigners, on the other hand, will quite possibly wait until after next month's Republican National Convention to start their campaigning, thinking that the later convention will remove much of the edge Republicans have built between now and August 14th.
Well, I have to look at it in terms of what the law provides, and as you know, when the state expects to ask for the death penalty under the old statute, the court had a right to deny bond. Apparently now there is no capital punishment, or at least there isn't at this moment. So I can see where this problem has arisen. These people would be eligible for bond.
Well, we were able to conclude that some officers on an individual basis had been by that residence outside of working hours, and we were not able to conclude whether or not it was involved with the beat committee work or whether it was on a individual basis in terms of social enjoyment or what. We just were not able to conclude, but it was some time back. And with no more evidence than is before us now, I do not intend to pursue it any further.
Are you going to discipline those officers in any way?
No, I do not have evidence to discipline anyone at this point other than Singletary. And as you know, he has been quite severely disciplined.
Does this conclude your department's investigation into any alleged police activities in connection with Stout?
In connection with this case, unless new evidence develops which would open the case again, it is now closed.
Three years ago, we discovered through an extensive survey that there was a drug abuse problem in the city, just like all major cities. And we made an institutional commitment at that time to carry on an educational effort, which was our obligation. It's not necessarily going to have a great effect, we don't really know, but hopefully it would have some effect on drug abuse. Now, 2.5 years later, we discover that this program is only moderately employed, if at all.
But this was a misunderstanding. No one's fault, really, but several of the members of the bar received the impression that they wouldn't have to continue funding the present office if they receive federal money, but this is incorrect because it's part of our grant. It's called a maintenance of effort clause. We are obliged to maintain the present office, and we've already taken steps to secure our United Fund money once again, and now we hope that the Bar Association will join in.
How long have you been working on the idea of picture checks?
About 8 years, Steve, and up until this time we weren't able to have the checks made to where our customers could conveniently afford them.
Well, do you think that in the future all banks in Texas will eventually have to change to picture checks?
Since the reception to our program has been so great, I do feel like that other banks will want to install this program.
And how has the public accepted picture checks so far?
It's really been terrific. I think this is the best way to express it.
A committee of 8 persons has been appointed, 4 from the city and 4 from the Chamber of Commerce, to study the financial problems of the city. Charles Hetrick, the Executive Vice President of the Chamber, is included among the members. I asked Hetrick if it's the Chamber's intentions to try to avoid new city taxes.
We felt at the time that the earnings tax was being considered that it was too quick and that it needed a more careful evaluation, particularly in terms of what effect such a tax would have on the overall economic position and posture of Fort Worth within the north central Texas metroplex area.
One organization that includes 20,000 members, the Tarrant County Central Labor Council, opposes the committee appointed and the new tax proposals. The president of that organization, Frank Barron, tells why.
We feel like that there needs to be a broad-based study of several people from different organizations from various parts of the city to make an input into this study, and therefore we would come up with something or some form of tax that would be acceptable if they need a tax increase.
The 8-member committee appointed is expected to come up with some recommendations by August 21st, and the new budget for the city of Fort Worth must be passed no later than September 15th. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.